Well, hello everybody on another episode, Mind Over Madness. This is your host, Madman. So, today is going to be about, obviously, it's going to be about how someone should be in the office. I think in this particular instances of, we've seen Trump doing his thing, we've seen Kamala do her thing, and it's just like, you know what? I think none of them are right. None of them are doing what they're supposed to be doing. Come on, guys. I mean, how should I say? If I were to run, let's be hypothetical here. This is Mind Over Madness, after all. So let's be hypothetical here. What would I do if I were to run for an office? What would be my policies? What would be what I would do if I was involved with world affairs and domestic affairs? What would be my political stance and my platforms? First of which, transparency. Transparency is my number one policy. Oh, excuse me. Whoop. Not that. I mean, look. There's one thing I can factually say that's true about me is I'm human. I made mistakes. There's things on my history that you could probably find and be like, oh, let's pin this on him. Let's pin that on him. Like, okay, yes, let's pin those on me. I'll explain what happened. I'll explain that, hey, look, I was a kid. I was a real messed up person back then. I'm no lie. We all have our flaws. So you ask me about, okay, so, for example, I've been arrested. Hello. And yes, I've been to jail too. That was fun. Never doing that again. Anyways. So, what would I do? What would I say? It's just like, okay, yes, you found my my criminal record. Now you're going to say like, oh, so you're going to cuss out everybody because it was offensive words, public disturbance charge. So they'd be like, so are you going to go ahead and, verbally abuse everybody that's against you? Or are you going to try to verbally abuse me? And I was like, no, not really. See, back then, yes, I was young, stupid. I made mistakes. I've learned from those mistakes now. I am a much more calmer person overall. I will actually go ahead and say, I apologize for my actions back then. While still inexcusable, I've grown as a person. I am more open to talks than I was before, and I am more open to the overall pictures than what I was before. Back then was a mistake. I was going through a rough time in my life. It was not my best. And I just that's all there is to it. It was a learning situation for myself to understand, okay, that's who I need not to be. These are mistakes that we should try to avoid. We want to have a good life. I kept talking to myself like, while even in the downtown county or downtown jail, so I was there for like 5 days. No, don't want to do that. No. Bad. So while I was sitting there, I just kept on thinking like, I messed up. I really did. I should have done this. I should have done that. And yes, it's easy to say I should have. But what I do now is that I step back. I say, hang on. Before we start gaffing off and saying all this stuff that can possibly come back on me, let's take a step back and say, hang on. Okay. Yes. You're right. I'm wrong. But here's how I'm going to fix it. And this is what we're going to do to fix this. Or if it's like something like, for example, if I was to face Putin at one point in my life, an unlikely chance, of course, obviously, but hypothetically, if I was to go in front of Putin, I'd be like, yo, my guy. Now, of course, I'd be a little bit more formal about this, of course, duh. But I'd be like, my guy, dude, we live in such a life or such an age in history and in technology that seriously, war is a thing of the past. Let it go. Set your egos aside. Well, yes, we have our own flaws. True. Everybody has flaws. Every country, every nation, every leader has flaws. I think at this point in time in our history, we can go ahead and set those differences aside. Let's try to work together. I understand it's going to take time to build trust to each other, but I think our first step in building trust with each other is to understand, hey, we got our own things. And the world is not against us. The world is not out to get us. And I think that if we came through it that way, I'm pretty sure you could have just brokered a deal with Ukraine instead of invading it if you wanted the resources. I'm pretty sure you could have been like, hey, Ukraine, we would like to talk to you about your resources. And we would like to try to see if there's a mutual benefit that can benefit both of us in this arrangement. We can offer you aid, food, everything, technology, all that. And even the West could come in and, help with that too. And the West would be like, hey, Russia, we can help you with what you need. Just ask and, be diplomatic about it. One of the things in my life, even though I'm an engineer right now, I'm an electrical engineer right as of this moment, I could have easily been a lawyer or something of that nature. But I chose not to because I had more fun wanting to do projects and designing stuff. But I have this innate ability to just be like, look, let's be diplomatic about this. Let's actually say, hey, let's set our differences aside. Let's actually see what we can benefit each other. Everything in life is about give and takes. You have to give in order to take. And if you are not willing to give and you're only willing to take, and this goes against the Americans too. We do more taking than we do giving. Although I think we're more and more towards the 60-40 split on the whole taking giving thing, while Russia's more about like the 80-20 range, maybe a little higher than that. More like 90-10. China, same way. And then North Korea, obviously they're straight up 100-0. They take everything. They don't give nothing. They don't even give it to their own people. And what I would try to do is try to say, hey, look, let's come to the table, guys. Let's try to make things happy for everybody. Even in Iran, it's like, look, your people are suffering. We are willing to provide aid and hospitality. And it's like this whole Middle East thing. It's like, okay, so I understand you all can't reconcile differences between our religions. That's fine. But the past is the past, man. Let's try to move forward, Work with what we have. Work with what we do have now. Your past does not define who you are now. It's just a matter of, are you willing to look past your own self? That would be how I would run the foreign policies. The same concept would be to run the domestic policies. Like, dudes, come on. There is no race. We're Americans, and in its entirety, there is no race. There's no such things as racism in this particular day and age. This shouldn't be. What the internet was supposed to do was to actually bring the world together. And what we have done is just is kind of like, yes, we have the world together, but now we're like, it's mine. It's all mine. Like, no. It's for everyone. And everyone has an equal opportunity. It's just a matter of using your mind, changing your mindset of whether or not you wish to actually take that and actually run with it. Use your willpower. Use your brain. Not everything is about me and victimizing me. No. It's about what you can do to make yourself better as well as make another person's life better. And in its entirety, we're in a symbiosis where one affects another. Well, and there's some things in the past that was done correctly, where in the old West, in the old pioneer age, a lot of civilizations looked after each other. Even smaller communities ended up looking after each other when adversity hit. Well, great. Let's try to apply that now to the world. Let's see if we can get the world to be a one community. Just everybody all be like kumbaya, peace, love, and respect, It's just real simple. It's really that simple. And it should be simple enough to set our differences aside. Economy. For economy, I don't know much about economy, okay? So what I would have to do, or what I would say in that regards is, look, I'm going to work with the top specialists in our nation, and I'm going to work with Congress and the House of Representatives, and say, hey, look, we need to come together. Stop wanting to go, oh, me. I want this building. I want that building. I want this earmark. I want that earmark. No, we need to start putting the budget in a way that is both conclusive to both for the good of the Americans and for the world. So, let's set some boundaries here. Let's make some boundaries here. That's what I would try to do. I would try to work with them. There's no guarantees. Unfortunately, as we're all well aware, someone runs for presidency, promises don't really last. But what I try to offer is not a promise, but action. I promise to do an action and try to make the world a better place, even for us. Yes, life sucks. I'm sorry. I'll do my best to do what I can to make life better for everybody. And that goes on to point 3. When laws come through, and it is up to the executive branch to sign them into law, there's things you could do as a president that you should be allowed to do. And I don't know if it's something that's like completely forgotten knowledge, or if it's something that people have just ignored over the years, or not cared to do so, or were advised very much against it. But why can't we just do public addresses? Say, hey, look, the people of the United States of America, this is your president coming up and saying, hey, I have this bill in front of me. I'm going to give my interpretation of this bill right now. And then I'm going to post the bill on a website excuse me, on a website, and say, hey, y'all look at this. Tell me if you want this into law. Tell me this is what y'all want. Because as a president, I work for the people. I don't work for myself. I work for the people. I work to make the people better. And I look to uphold the freedoms that we so greatly take for granted. But forget that it's because of that, and the way that the America was designed, a way that it was meant to be. So I would say, like, look, so I got this bill. It's got this in it. It's got that in it. It's going to do this to the nation, in my opinion. And as a president, I have 3 options: pocket veto, and sign. I think there's a little bit more options that are involved that I have, but those are the 3 that are like most common to common folk like myself and everyone else. So pocket veto is basically like straight up, nah, nah. Like, I'm just gonna shuffle this away and not, it doesn't exist. It pretty much was destroyed on site. Like, if it was something that bad, that's something that was really against the law or against Constitution. Number 2, the veto. That is me saying nah, and I would actually physically line through or physically hand back and say no. That is when, and I would base that decision off of what the people want. If the people's like, oh, hell no, what the hell? We spending this much money on this and we're doing that? Hell no. Send that shit back. Like, okay. All right. Fair enough. I'll do so. And I'll do it. Third thing is to sign it into law. And that would be if I have the people's permission to sign it into law. Of course, there would be some sort of vetting period that I would have to probably be like, okay, you have this much time to actually sign this into law. So, unfortunately, there will have to be a bit of a time crisis as far as signing in, either vetoing or signing into law. So, I'm pretty sure that exists. I'm pretty sure there's some sort of understanding that, yes, you can't just sit on this forever, and because, of course, naturally I have only 4 years in the first go round, right? Well, and if I have 8, go for 8 years, cool, great, we can work on a few more things and try to flush everything out. That way, when the next person takes over, hopefully they don't screw everything up again, but, wishful thinking at this point. It's just a matter of what can we do to kind of control what is, because it's yours. It's your country. It's not my country. It's not the House of Representatives' country. It's not the Supreme Court's country. It's yours. That's your livelihoods on this paper that can easily change how you live. So that's my third thing. Be absolutely, completely transparent. When it comes to, natural disasters, yeah, I'm going to sign the emergency result. I'm going to have everything already predetermined based on response times. So if I would have a person next to me who would be able to monitor and keep track of the meteorological reports. That way I stay on top of what possibly could be a natural disaster like hurricanes, tornadoes, conditions ready for wildfires and stuff. That way I could be on top of and be proactive and say, hey, look, you got this massive storm coming your way, or you got this potential risk that's involved. You might want to try to get prepared. Try to minimize loss. Houses can be rebuilt. Lives can be. It cannot. You cannot come back from the dead. I'm sorry. That's permanent, and that's just hurts me. When it comes to other policies and stuff, okay. First off, yes, I'm not against abortions at all. Not. But the only thing I am against is having taxpayer money pay for it. Unless it involves a criminal offense, such as rapes and stuff. Then it's a criminal offense, therefore it falls under a different set of circumstances that would warrant the use of taxpayer money. However, as a whole, no. That's between you and your doctor. I'll give them the okay and the ability to make the better judgment for your health. I'm not going to decide your health. What do I know? I'm a guy. I know nothing of the woman physiology. And I can learn it, of course, but not being an actual physical woman kind of hinders me a little bit in understanding what really goes on. What y'all really experience and how it, so I would leave it up. I would allow the doctors to have the free range to do what they feel is best. You make the appointment, you talk to them. That's that one. As far as guns are concerned, look, Second Amendment is Second Amendment, dude. You're not going to be able to turn that over. Stop it. What I could try to do is say, hey, look, try to mandate some sort of class involved in the early years of history of like the young child's history, something like in the point in time where they're actually strong enough to handle like a 22 rifle or something, and be like, look, how about we just do some gun safety stuff, explain some stuff that involves, hey, a firearm is meant to be used as a tool, not as a use of as a weapon. It's meant as a tool. You know, at some point, you know, everybody should be able to go out and forage food like they should be able to, because that's another thing that, you know, can help mitigate a lot of problems, especially at the grocery store. You know, you if you are able to go out and make your own food, you know, and that's the thing. I could actually see about, you know, talking with Congress, saying, hey, look, I got an idea here. Run with it. I got three things that could be useful in early childhood development. And the first thing is, you know, hey, let's teach them how to survive on their own. What can we do to help them understand what, like, horticultures and, you know, cooking classes? Bring those back, you know, and then also the gun safety thing. Bring that all back. Bring it into the equation. Another thing I could probably do is say, hey, look, we understand bullies are going to be a thing. Kids are probably the best at building tough skin, thick skin. And thick skin helps with regulating emotions. If, you know, and I really would try to see if I could say, hey, look, bring back bare knuckle boxing back at school. You know, if, you know, you could have the bully and the victim get together and duke it out as many times as they wish. You know, of course, sanction the fight. You know, you'd be like, you know, hey, look, we're gonna referee this thing. Y'all have at it, but we're not gonna allow y'all to kill each other either. You know, as soon as once one is straight up KO'd or knocked out, or, you know, is physically different than the other, we're going to go ahead and stop the fight and say, hey, look, dispute is settled. Whatever is the result of this, whoever's the victor gets the rights. You know, and so be it. End it. Bullies won't last forever at that point, because there's a lot of kids out there that are just like really holding in that rage, that stress, and that's a powerful thing. And a lot of people hold restraints, but if we allow the kids to handle their differences early on, when they get to adulthood, they'll be like, oh, I recognize this. Yeah, no, you're fine. You know, they'll be able to understand how to reconcile that without having the need to go any further. Also, it prevents, you know, school shootings. That for the love of God. You know, so you teach gun safety in school, and you bring back bare knuckle boxing, and you're like, hey, we just knocked out two birds, one stone. We settled the bullies issues. Well, three birds actually. I do apologize. We settled the gun safety. We settled bullies, or how to deal with bullies, and we settled how, you know, how to grow thick skin. You know, all that fun stuff, and also prevent school shootings. The need for having, you know, security at school, because school should be about learning, should be about, you know, inspiring young minds to actually want to learn. So there's a lot of things that we could probably do that I would try to see if I could bring to the House of Representatives and try to work with them and also the judicial branch to say, hey, look, what's the actual laws that I can actually say, yes, we can do this. And if I could try to get it somewhat passed or in process, it's just something that's like, that's what we could do. As far as everything else is concerned, unfortunately, it's just a matter of responding to dumb things. It's just like, okay, great. I got this political leader going crazy and nuts. So it's like, no, zero tolerance, dudes. We don't need that in this country. And as far as House of Representatives, I would try to see if I can negotiate kind of like term limits. It's like, hey, let's cycle these guys ever so often. Bring in fresh ideas, new ideas. Every generation has its own unique stance on things. And that's what we should do. Because life changes. It's dynamic. And it requires change. Consistent change. It can't just be, a couple of old guys just controlling the world. No. It's got to be a bunch of fresh minds that can actually make this world a better place. So that's what I would try to do. It's just a matter of a few things that I would try to work with. I can't make no promises. I can't force people to change. I can't force people to make their to do what I will. No. What I can try to do is say, hey, look, I will work with these guys at a tirelessly and say, hey, what can we do? A final thing. Given the fact that, the presidency makes about about $450,000 a year just sitting there, I'd be more than happy to take half of that and put it into charities. Just charities all over the place. That way, I work for you. And that's money that's actually technically yours, but it's going to me. Because people are like, oh, hey, we need a pay rate. No, you don't. No, you don't. Let's try to curb that a little bit. Especially in the House of Representatives. Holy crap, they make a lot of money. And it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be about money while being a representative of either the entire country or as a state level. It should be about making everybody. It should be about what is best for everyone, what the people want. That's what we should try to do. See, that's pretty straight. That's probably more than what Trump has said. That's probably more than what Kamala, definitely way the hell more than what Kamala has said. And I gave an opinion on what Kamala should have said. But, alas, duh. So, what I'm getting at is like, look, it's not that complicated, and this is what should be done for as far as leadership is concerned, running for these things. Anyways, that's my piece, my take, and this is Madman saying, hey, see y'all next time. Like and subscribe if you can. I don't care. It's not a requirement, just if you wish. And, share this video to friends and family. Say, hey, look, this is what a balanced politician should be. This is what we really should be aiming for. And there's no way. Share it amongst your friends. Say, hey, look, we're friends, brother on brother, sister on sister. We're all family. We all come from one, only 1,200 people in the world, or was it 12,000? It's one of those two numbers. I know it starts with 12. I don't remember the exact number, but I know we only came from a small number of people that survived a cataclysmic event, extinction level event way back in, I think, 100,000 years ago or something like that. Anyways, we're not that too far different from one another. And we really should be treating each other like brothers and sisters. And, just go about life just not causing too much chaos. Seriously. Anyways, I hope this piqued your mind a little bit and, made yourself a little bit more aware of the madness over mind. So this is Madman Stan saying, signing off, and just stay tuned for more episodes. I do apologize how long of a timeline this is, the amount of time it's been since I've uploaded the last video, but I kind of had neat stuff to talk about, and with this whole dynamic stuff that's going on, it's like, oh hey, let's talk about that. Anyways, have a happy Halloween, everybody. It is that time of year. Woo! See ya.